but I want to know. I do, you know, I have to be honest with you. I want to know. I have so much yearning to learn and to know so many things. And so I read and I read and I read, and that's my journey. I read, I experience, I feel, and I want to know what other people think. I want to know what I think. I want to know what my truth is. What is my truth? And I don't want to just know it, but I want to feel it, right? I want to feel it and I want to live it. I don't want to just get up here and be talking about what other people say all the time. I want to live it and feel it and tell you how it feels for me. And I want to hear how it feels for you. Because to me, that's what this whole experience of life is about. It's about feeling. It's about feeling God, experiencing God. And to me, you know, I get it through learning and through reading. And it's almost like the words come alive. And it just touches my heart. And we want to talk about that a little bit today. Because I've got to be authentic. And I've got to let you know that that's how I do it. You know, I don't, like Buddha, just sit under under a fig tree. And it was a Bodhi tree, but it was a fig tree. but it's called the Bodhi tree. But he sat under it, he got enlightened. But it wasn't until he actually learned a whole bunch of stuff, right? And he knew stuff, and then he sat under it, and he got enlightened. You know, I don't do that. But what I do is I read, and I let it sink in, and then it touches my heart. And I can't tell you the feeling that I get sometimes after I've opened these books and I have learned what different traditions, or sometimes after James, I've got to get back to your class, because after what you say, sometimes it's like, I think about it, I dream about it, and I think, wow, you know, this is so incredible to me, that I have this yearning to balance this head knowledge with my heart knowledge and then use it to walk in the world. And that's what's important to me. And so I read everything that gets me so excited, you know, and I'm reading about the secret doctrines, you know, and I'm reading about the mysteries of the universe, and I'm reading about all this stuff that I dream about at night. And, you know, when I find it, like, so exciting that I dream and I get up in the morning. And I read this thing, and I wonder why I'm like that, you know, because Judy says, oh, you got too much head in you, you know, just let it go, you know. And the truth is that why am I like that? And I read then what Rainier Rilke said, and he said, I don't know why, but everything enters into me more deeply now, and it doesn't stop where it used to. I have this interior that I never knew of, and everything now passes in it. And I kind of feel like that, and I don't know if I can explain this enough, but it's like when I read something, these words come alive, and it goes way into me, and I feel like that's the experience of God, right? Does that make sense to you? And it's not just reading. It's not just reading. It's the experience of seeing, you know, my plants. I'm outside and I work a lot in the garden, and when I'm seeing the roses come up and stuff, I don't just see the surface of it anymore. I used to, you know, the surface of stuff, but I feel like that, what he said, I see it deeper now. I go deeper into it, and I see the whole flower and how it came to be. Does that make sense? See, to me, that's the experience we're talking about. This is the wisdom that I think I'm starting to, in my 60-some years, to feel. You know, it's not just about learning all of the different traditions, although I love that still, and it still makes me feel. But I'm learning to experience instead of just seeing the surface, you know, to go deeper. And I think that's going to be my call here to you guys, is that I know you do that too, that we see each other, just not on the surface level, that I don't just see you and talk to you, but I feel this incredible energy of oneness that we have. You know, that's so important to me. Oscar Wilde said, be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. You've heard that before. I love that. I absolutely love that, because you know, I'm weird, and it's okay, you know? It's okay to be this way. When we find ourselves, when we really find out who we are, we find God, right? So this is a search for who we each are, and we each are different, and we're unique, and we find God differently. We find love differently, because when we find ourselves, we find God, and when we find God, we find love. I believe that with all my heart. And we walk differently, and we move, and we have our being differently when we come from this God place inside, from this energy, from this love that we are, you know. I'll tell you the truth that I've read so much different religions. I love it. I read the Vedas, what Rami Shapiro talked about, you know, the different traditions. And I found there wasn't one religion that felt just right for me. It never did, even as a child. I took the good parts and threw away the other parts that I didn't like. There was a lot I didn't like about it. And so I searched and I jumped from different traditions to different traditions. But I found that in all the traditions, some of the practices were the same, and the lines, the thread that ran through all of them was about kindness and was about compassion and was about love. The golden rule is in every single tradition. It runs through all of it. And that's so important. In every sacred text that we have, there's something special in it. Here's what I know. When I was a kid, the Bible, right? I read it at a surface level. We had to learn the scriptures. We had to learn everything. I got it at a surface level. I get it deeper today. See, here's what I know is that as I grow bigger, as my heart gets bigger and I expand, my awareness expands, my religion expands, I don't mean religion, my spirituality expands. And I see things bigger. Instead of reading the Bible at a surface level, I can see it differently now. I can see the traditions differently than I see them just with the words, right? So it's like you read the words, but you take them in differently. You don't just see what the scripture says. And the same thing with not even just the sacred text, but I'm talking about poetry, I'm talking about philosophy, all of it. And they all say the same things. This is what gets me excited, I think, is that these deeper layers make me feel, and they touch my heart. This is what I do at night. Okay, I have a real exciting life here. So I read, and I'll tell you, you've all heard William Blake when he says, see the world in a grain of sand. In every tradition, everybody says the same thing. Even science now says the same thing. All of these different things say the same thing. And they talk about this incredible power and this God that is in each and every one of us. To me, that's the wisdom. It's about us knowing who we are enough to be able to go in and touch that place inside, that place of love. It's about discovering it and feeling the love between each one, every single one of us. It's about seeing each other with loving, with grateful, with loving eyes. I can't tell you enough that what I believe, and I hate the word believe in a way because it's like, beliefs come and go, right? But what I have come to understand and what makes sense to me has made sense to all the sages and the mystics and the philosophers and the poets for years and years. It's been across time, right? There's been civilizations that have believed it, it's gone and then it's come back. And it's the one truth. It's the one truth. And it's the truth that we are connected and we're one, and that we're the power and the energy of love. And everybody says it at one time or another throughout history. And not only is that powerful to me, that everybody's believed it and the people that I respect have said it, and that it's in the minds of scientists, and it's in the minds of philosophers and poets, but it makes me a better person, and that's more important than any of it. It makes me a kinder person, and it makes me a better person. And that's what our tradition and our religion should do for us, whatever it is for you. It should make us a better person. We should see life deeper, and we should see it not on the surface. We should connect at a deeper level for whatever we believe. Whatever we believe, it should make us touch each other. It should make us care about one another. It should make us follow the golden rule if that's important to you. And it should be. That's what life is. It's about knowing who you are, being kind, transforming yourself, and then taking it out to the other person. That's what it's about. That's what I believe. See, my understandings today are way broader and they're deeper because I've become deeper. Through this journey of spirituality, wow, it's changed me. It's changed who I am as a person. And I think that whenever that we step into something, we believe it and we experience it, it changes us. It's so much more than just coming and listening, for a Sunday. It's about taking it out and then experiencing it with people in your families, with the people in your lives, with your friends. It's about seeing a bigger picture than what you're seeing, right? Than the surface of what's going on. It's about more than the stories of our lives. And I got to thinking about all these stories, through my life. I've had these crazy stories, that have happened and, you live them. But when we go deeper than the story, we find what's important. We find our transformation. We find our courage, right? Of everything you've gone through in your life, think of the trials and the difficulties that you've had and how you've come through them. See, that's the underneath story. That's the deeper part I'm talking about. Stories will always be there, the stories of your life. But when you go deeper and you touch something deep inside of you, that's what I'm talking about. That's experiencing God. That's experiencing your courage. You know, I have to kind of laugh because, you know, we say verify the teachings. You know, how do you prove religion? You know, you can't prove really anything. Maybe I guess you can dig up things and you can prove, right? You're archaeologists and stuff. I was thinking, I think that's my next life. I would love to do that and be able to see this, you know, and say, wow, you know, this is really true, you know. But the truth is that you can't, you know, the stories in the Bible, the stories that they tell in the different traditions, you can't make it true. You can't find proof for it. But what you can do is feel how they touch your heart and go deeper and see, what does that mean? You know, what does it mean? You know, we're not going to be able to prove the accuracy of all the world's traditions, but we can say, what's true for me? You know, what is true for me? Because each one of us have a different truth, you know? And I know that what was true for me as a child, you know, is way different than what's true for me now. Everybody is at a different spot. Everybody's at a different place, you know, in their life. And I'll be at a different place tomorrow, hopefully, than I am today. You know, I would hopefully give you a different talk tomorrow. Because every moment we grow a little bit more, right? We grow, we learn, we experience, we love. That's what humans do. It's about, you guys, it's just about love. It's about self-worthiness. It's about feeling this whole journey that we're on right now is about learning to love yourself. Learning to love yourself enough so that when you do, you can love others. Our world would change. Our world would be different when we start to discover what's inside of us, the love that is in each and every one of us. And when we do, we would start to see everything differently. We would see with grateful eyes. We would see that the stories, I just talked about the stories of our life, we would see that they're different than the way we see them. We wouldn't judge them. We wouldn't have to-do lists anymore. We would just have to-be lists. How am I going to be? How do I want to be in the morning? You know, follow it through the rest of your day. That's what's important. So simple words of wisdom, you know, however it is to you, what are your simple words of wisdom? They're going to be different than Judy's are, different than mine are. What are your words of wisdom to yourself? Because this is your truth, you know. My words are to let life enter. Let life, all of life, whatever's going on in your life, let it enter you. Feel it, experience it, experience the life. Feel it deeply. Feel it so deeply because it's truly what yours is to do. And when it hurts you, you know, when life hurts you, and it will, you know, that's just the nature of life, just breathe in and know your depth. You are God expressing as each one of you. Those are my words of wisdom. Thank you.